What is going on, everybody? This is Rick Adams. We got Jack Farris on the line once again. It's episode 9 of the J&R PuckHouse. It's June 21st, 2022, and you gotta love it, folks. You gotta love it. The NHL Awards. We had 3 games of the Stanley Cup Finals. We're gonna dive right into it. Jack, say hello to the people for us.
What's up, listeners? Jack Farris here. Happy to be talking to you guys again. Rick, good to be talking to you again. Also, like we said last podcast, I mean, we were looking forward so much to the draft and the free agency and the trades and all that, that coming up, and that was going to be a big podcast, but we got the awards. I almost forgot about them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're enthralled in the playoffs, and you kind of forget about the player awards, but that's definitely something interesting to talk about, along with the Stanley Cup playoffs, of course.
Yeah.
So, excited about both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's cool. I actually completely forgot, as the listeners can tell. As you mentioned, we forgot. But you know what? We, like you said, fully invested into the playoffs. And hey, listen, that's what we're here for. We're gonna go over everything. We'll save the awards for last. Let's dive right into the playoffs here. Let's dive right into the first 3 games. A total shock in that game too. But let's dive into game 1. Colorado was crazy dominant, and it just goes to show home games are so important, and I don't care what anybody says, number 1. And number 2, Tampa is that good that they were resilient enough to force OT. I don't know what happened in game 2, that's why we're talking about game 1 right now, but it just goes to show how good Tampa is. They're able to force OT, even though they lost, and they're on the road, but they were still able to be resilient enough and keep the cool and come back, but, lose an OT. But resiliency, that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, listen, you don't win 2 championships without resiliency, right?
Right.
It doesn't happen by mistake. So, the big thing for me was game 1, when Colorado won an OT, obviously. That was a tight game. That was a good game, first of all. It was a tight game. Kind of even. So then you go to game 2, and Tampa gets completely smoked, which you don't see often.
No,
it's like they weren't prepared for Colorado's high flying offense. Cale Makar was just like a fucking, I don't even know the right word to describe him, but he was just out of this world. After that game where they get smoked 7-0. You got so many people like, oh, Tampa's done. They're, see, it's over, I was just like, no, they're not. Listen, I know the Rangers and Colorado are not the same team. I'm not trying to compare them. But the Rangers were up 2-0 against Tampa, too. All right? And, I know you put a lot of emphasis, Rick, on the home games. I don't put as much emphasis on it as you do. But I do think Tampa has an advantage at home. They don't really fucking lose at home, so I do think it's an advantage for them. But yeah, listen, even after getting smoked 7-0 and Colorado going up 2-0, you can't write them off. And they proved that game 3. They came out like a totally different team, and they weren't going down 3-0. They left it all out there. So
right, yeah. I mean, listen, it's a great thing to see, because honestly, I'm just rooting for a great series at this point. Yeah, I want my bet to hit Tampa in 6, of course, but I'm rooting for a good series back and forth. This is what talk about goal scoring in a final, man. This is a lot of goals being scored, But yeah, the home games, man. I don't know, You got Colorado going 2-0 at home, right? And they have a crazy road record. I know they just actually, I think they were what? They were like 7-0 on the road. Something like that. They were 7-0 on the road going into that game, and then they lose. So it's like home games matter. You can't count it out, especially when you're talking about these 2 teams. I mean, hey, they're in the Stanley Cup for the final for a reason. I would love to see Tampa tie it up at home, get that road win, get that sneaky road win, and then finish it off at home, just so my bet can hit. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's you got to give credit to a guy like Valerie Nichushkin. You gotta give credit to him. We were mentioning, I think, last podcast, I liked him even back when he was on Dallas. I don't think he was really given a fair shot. And look at him now. Look at him now.
The story with him, too, right, is Jaromir Jagr said that he was going to be, like, the best player in the NHL or something like that. Back when he was getting drafted.
Really?
He was talking about how sick he was going to be. And he didn't really pan out. He didn't pan out to be a player. He got drafted by Dallas, right? He got drafted by Dallas, spent a little time with them. I think he actually went back to Russia, and he played with Russia for a little while.
Yeah, for a year, I think.
Yeah, in Moscow, I believe, and then he came back to Dallas, and they just didn't really, they kind of parted ways. He wasn't working out in Dallas, but I'll tell you what, he's looking damn good in Colorado. I wonder if they'll even be able to re-sign him, because I'm sure he's going to cost, $5 million, $6 million at least, something like that. So, but yeah, Rick, getting back to what you were talking about, I give credit to Colorado because honestly, Darcy Kemper is playing better than I thought he was gonna. Last game, not so much. He got pulled, obviously, for Francouz, but they're playing better hockey than I thought they would. And a lot of that's just obviously driven by their superstars, and but also guys like Nichushkin.
Right.
Nichushkin and Burakovsky, Comfer, these guys, the bottom
that line
six
is great.
In.
That I think it's the third line. That third line is great.
Yeah,
might be it really second, is. But whatever it is.
Bowen Byram, I like the way he's playing.
Yeah.
For a rookie.
Yeah, I'm glad
he's flying under the radar.
I'm glad he's playing.
Well.
I remember earlier in the season, it was kind of a little bit questionable. He had some. He had a bad concussion. I remember he was out for quite some time.
Yeah, he's having issues.
I was upset. I was like, you hate to see that because young kid and whatnot. I mentioned this a couple podcast episodes, way back when. But yeah, you gotta love that he's back. He's playing great hockey in the Stanley Cup final. You just love to see it.
Yeah, I know because he was having issues. He was having serious issues. Concussion. The effects from the concussion were lingering for him. I think he was dealing with maybe some depression issues or whatever it may be. I could be wrong about that. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but if you look it up, he was dealing with some serious issues from the concussions. So, yeah, me too. I'm happy. He's a young kid. He looks like he's going to be a stud in the NHL, so happy that he's healthy and doing good because that's one guy I think is flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
You could talk about Cale Makar all day long and McKinnon
and even Taves.
Landeskog.
And even Taves.
Yeah. Yeah, Devin Taves, of course. But I think under the radar, he's been real solid for them, especially for a young kid that hasn't had, playoff experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But
listen, not to cut you off.
Yeah, I've been excited.
Not to cut you off, Jack. Since we're talking about under the radar guys, I want to do an under the radar mention since we're talking about Colorado is Lehkonen and Helm. Helm scoring some big goals. Lehkonen scoring some big goals. I loved the acquisition when they got Lehkonen at the deadline. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. You
I don't know how I didn't mention him.
Yeah, no, I think he's got 7 goals.
He's been great.
Yeah, he's got 7 goals right now. It's just everybody's gelling for Colorado, and I know last game, game 3 was whatever, but those first 2 games, that was just that was unreal. I don't think I've ever seen a team come out that hot before. I really, all my years watching hockey, I never seen it. They were so dominant, so much faster. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think they're just like a notch above anyone that Tampa's played and that Tampa's beat, And as much as I'm a big Lightning guy on this podcast, I mean, we all know by now I'm a Rangers fan, but I like the Lightning. I like a lot of players in the Lightning, and I always kind of root for them as long as they're not playing the Rangers. So, but I will say a lot of people are right. In the finals, they beat Dallas and then they beat Montreal. Neither one of those teams compare to the offensive firepower that Colorado has.
Right.
So, this is a different ball game for them. Different fucking hockey game for them is what I should say. But there's no doubt. It's a different game, different team. But what I will say is if Colorado could find a way to beat them, they're going to become the new Tampa, where for years and years they're, competitive. They're in the finals. They're winning cups. Like, they're going to be that team if they keep this core together. Pretty much everyone's locked up. The only person they got to get locked up within the next, I think McKinnon's got one more year left on his contract after this. So, as long as they can extend McKinnon and he wants to be there long term, they're going to have a fucking really good team for, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Solid core there.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you have McCarr, McKinnon, Ranton, and Landeskog locked up, and whether they keep Kemper or they find another goalie, they're going to be in good shape. I know Devin Taves is locked up. So they're probably going to lose Kadri. We'll see. Maybe they'll re-sign Nichushkin. But yeah, I'm diving into their cap situation a little too much, and they're still in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so we'll save that stuff for the off season. But they're an impressive team, but I'm still going with Tampa in this one.
I think
Tampa showed us in Game 3 that it's still a series. And it's still a series. Listen, like you like to talk about the home games. Tampa wins the next game, and then they just get that sneaky one on the road, like you said. They're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, that Game 3, I was actually a little bit worried once Colorado scored that first goal that got waved off. Then it got waved off, and I'm like, all right, a little bit of a relief, And then I think it was Landeskog scored a couple minutes later, and I was just like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, boy. But then Tampa bounced back, and Braden Point was out. I actually didn't know that till game time. I guess he aggravated his injury. Or re-aggravated it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he must be playing through something kind of serious to the point where maybe Cooper was like, listen, he tried to come back. Maybe he obviously wasn't 100%, and they were probably like, listen, just, stay out because you obviously can't really play through this, Who knows what it is? They don't tell you really in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was so injured that it would be slowing the team down, making it worse. You're better off having, some fourth line roll winger, or center taking the spot.
Could be a team doctor saying, "Hey,
full speed.
This guy shouldn't be playing through this." Could be that. But hockey players are. I'm sure Braden Point's saying, "I'll play," even if the guy's got a fucking broken leg and a concussion. If he can play, he'll probably play because I'm sure that's the type of guy he is. But you never know. It could be that bad where he just literally physically can't.
Yeah, and then Kucherov got a little hurt at the end there. I knew he skated off. There was like 5 minutes left to go. Took a one-timer on the power play, and he went through the full motion. He just skated right off. He's likely to play. What I'm hearing, most likely to play as long as he doesn't aggravate the injury. He should be good to go. I think he plays. It's Game 4 at home. I don't like. They didn't say it was anything major. You know what I mean? So we'll see game time. I really would be shocked if he doesn't play. I think he's good to go though.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, listen, you can't really lose that guy.
No, he's.
I mean, they can, but the guy that's been great for them offensively is Stamkos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's been unbelievable for them, scoring the clutch goals.
Got 3 goals in the last 5 games.
He's scoring the big goals for them, and it's good to see because he hasn't played that much in the playoffs these past 2 years because of injuries. Like, he hasn't been able to be there for every series and every game because he's battled a ton of injuries in his career. But he's been lights out for them all playoff long. And it's good to see. That's their captain, And he's an unbelievable player still. People don't talk about him. Like, they used to talk about him a lot because he was so good. Like, he's still such an awesome player. And I feel like he kind of flies under the radar a little bit. And it sounds crazy because he's, Tampa won 2 cups. But, like people forget how good he is. You talk about Tampa. A lot of people talk about Point and Hedman and Vasilevsky. But Stamkos can still play. He's a little bit older now, but he's still an unbelievable
in our
player.
fantasy hockey league, I traded him away to you because I was like, fuck this guy. He's done.
I know. I should have mentioned that earlier. I know. I forgot who I gave you for Stamkos, but that was the best pickup I made in
Yeah.
in that fantasy league we were in, and even though I lost, that getting Stamkos put me ahead a little bit. It got me at least in the middle there instead of hanging out at the bottom. But
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. Those.
And one thing about Tampa,
move.
while I'm thinking of it too, like I do think like when you talk about young superstars and like the sure firepower, like that high flying offense, the power play stuff, like Colorado may have the edge now just because of McCarr, McKinnon, and Rantanen. They're just so skilled, but goaltending, I've probably said it 10 times. Obviously, Vasilevsky, they got the edge in goaltending, but I think one area that Colorado lacks in, they don't have a defenseman like Hedman. Like they don't. Like Hedman eats up minutes. Like he actually hasn't been great against Colorado. If you look, he's been on ice for a lot of goals, and maybe eating up all those minutes has kind of taken a toll on him. But he's, still an amazing defenseman. I think that's the only thing Colorado's lacking is like a big, solid, dependable defenseman that could just eat minutes and just pretty much do it all. Been there, done that.
Right.
I'm sure Colorado fans would be like, yeah, but like Tampa doesn't have a guy like McCarr because they don't. That's the one thing Tampa might be missing is that right-handed shot offensive defenseman. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to watch game 4 tomorrow because that's going to be obviously pivotal. No matter who wins, but if Tampa wins, it's looking like a Tampa Bay win on the series, in my opinion.
I think they're going to have enough momentum to sneak that road win after that. If they win tomorrow, I think they're going to have enough momentum going on that road game and win. And I know, hey, listen, I know I fucking rant and rave about the home games, but we're talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know they lost 7-0 on the road, game 2, but I think they'll have enough momentum. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 2-time Stanley Cup champs. I've said it before in other podcast episodes that if there's a team to win on the road at a big time, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we were talking about the Lightning and stuff. A guy we didn't even mention, which I can't believe, is Palat. Palat's playing great. Palat is playing so good. You gotta give him credit.
I mentioned in the last podcast, but he's clutch.
No, yeah. I'm just saying this bucket. Like we did, like he's just so, like you said, clutch. He's so good. He got 10 goals. I mean, this guy's getting paid. You know what I mean? This guy, I believe his contract's up. This guy's getting paid if they could afford him.
It is.
Don't want to dive in too much, but this guy deserves it. He really does. He really does.
He's a clutch player. Steven Stamkos has said before, like years ago, that he wants Palat on the team as his winger.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he vouches for him, and he's proven it. He's a clutch player. He scores big goals. He shows up in the big moments. Now, I think as far as affording him, they probably can if they let someone else walk. You know what I mean? They may not be able to sign like Nick Paul or someone like that. But it's going to come down to Palat because Palat could probably go to a different team and make $6 million. But Tampa might be like, hey, we could give you 4.2 or 4.4. You're going to stay in Tampa where the taxes are low and the weather's nice, and you're with a winning team, and you're with all your guys that you won with.
Exactly.
Like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to go to Ottawa and make 6, or do you want to stay here and make 4.5? You know what I mean?
Exactly. We'll dive into that later. That's going to be fun to talk about. That's what I really can't wait to talk about is the off-season and stuff, but in due time. You got the draft, I believe, July 7th. That's going to be great. So, we'll do a special. Don't have any ideas yet. Give us some ideas, listeners, what we should do for the draft. We'll do something. Maybe we'll do a live podcast. Maybe we'll do, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, no, it's going to be
live from the Montreal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, Game 4 coming up tomorrow, 8 p.m. It's going to be great. I got Tampa winning that. Betting $20 on them. Betting 20 on them and a Palat goal. And we'll see where it takes us. See where we go.
I think with Colorado, it's going to come down to goaltending. Like I think they're obviously able to score goals. and they're
Oh,
able to.
100%. We know that.
They could beat Vasilevsky, and not many teams can say that. Not many players can say that. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying Vasilevsky has never been scored on, but they could consistently beat Vasilevsky. You know, they've proven that. We'll see if that lasts, and we'll also see, can Kemper keep playing good? Because if he can't,
can he
can
keep his head in
Francouz
it?
come in and play well instead? I don't know, but I think that's going to be the breaking.
Francouz, real quick, Francouz is 6-0 when starting. So
I've seen that last night. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder. Hey, maybe you see him get the start on the road for the hell of it. You know, why not? I think Kemper deserves to start, but maybe you see that change just because he's 6-0. You know, when starting. So we'll see.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%.
But that's going to be the pivotal factor for Colorado for sure. Is their goaltending? Does their goaltending step up to the plate and get it done? Because if Tampa gets those greasy goals like a Pat Maroon or a Palat, Ross Colton, these guys in the bottom six, Nick Paul, Corey Perry, you know what I mean? Like if they're going to sneak one in, or if they, Colorado takes a stupid penalty and Kucherov or Stamkos score, like, is Kemper making that extra save or those extra 2 saves that he needs to make? Or is Francouz making that extra 2-3 saves he needs to make? I know it doesn't sound like I'm, cracking a big code here, and it's not rocket science, but it's really goaltending for me. Are you able to make that extra save in that playoff moment, and when the goals get greasy and you got guys in front of your crease and you got guys, it's just a tougher environment.
Oh yeah.
And can Kemper do it? I mean, I think Vasilevsky can do it.
Yeah, past track record shows it. Absolutely.
But that's going to be the big factor. Is goaltending. I think it's going to be a huge deal. And also, with Tampa, does Kucherov come back? I mean, listen, if they're already missing Point, I don't know if he's playing tomorrow. I haven't checked on that. I got to wait for the Elliot Friedman Twitter update. But if he's not playing, and then if Kucherov isn't playing either, which he's going to try to play if he can, but I don't know what is nagging him. Is that going to, if he does play, is that bringing down the percentage to the level that he's used to playing at, or that he should be playing at? I don't know.
Right.
But
I think he'll play, but like you said, will he be the same guy?
Yeah. Because if you're missing Kucherov and Point, and that's going to be pretty tough. We'll see what happens. I don't know if Kadri's coming back from Colorado. I heard he was going to come back. Who knows? But we'll see. I think he's been skating. Pretty much every practice, every morning skate. So see if he comes back, because that'll be a big addition for Colorado. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely. That's actually something I forgot to mention about Kadri. Colorado playing so good even without him. He's a great player. Plays his role, gets his, guys.
JT Copper stepped up. He's playing pretty damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like him. Yeah, I just can't wait. We'll see tomorrow, 8 p.m. Can't wait. Best time of the year. Really is.
I just hope it's an interesting hit. It already is an interesting series. The Stanley Cup always is, but like I said, if Tampa gets it done tomorrow and it's a tied series, each game just gets that much more entertaining.
Oh yeah. All right, let's dive into the NHL Awards. This was a little last minute actually. I realized today I got the notification on my phone. I was like, holy shit! How did I not mark this down on my calendar here? Start off with this, get it out of the way. Of course, Matthews, wins the Hart, the Rocket Richard, and the 10 Lindsay Award. Well deserved. Well deserved. I mean, numbers don't lie. As simple as that. Toronto has a special player. You would think that he's going to stay there for life. I don't see him ever going to Arizona, just given the current state of the team, because I know that's where he's from. But I just don't see him ever going there due to the current state of the team. I mean, aren't they even playing in a college arena next year? You know what I mean? I don't want to get too much involved with this, but I just don't see him signing to them ever, really. Unfortunately, unless
it's a little unstable over there.
Unless he's that infatuated and in love with playing for his home team that he grew up, whatever. But I
see him. I can see him going to LA.
I could see it. Yeah, that would be a good fit.
But who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
He may want to stay in Toronto. I don't know. So they're going to try their hardest to keep him.
Right,
but
right.
LA's pretty close to Arizona. It's nice weather.
Exactly.
And, who knows? Maybe them or Vegas or something like that,
Ooh. Him and Eichel.
They still got time, though, so Maple Leafs fans don't be punching your steering wheels too much. We know he's still a Maple Leaf.
Oh, yeah. Cale Makar went into Norris. Obviously, very well deserved. I didn't think Hedman had a chance. I think it's just Hedman already won. Here's Makar. You know what I mean? Give it to Makar. And I think even aside from that, numbers don't lie. So
yeah, I think the only guy that had a chance was Roman Josi.
Yeah, Josi. Yeah, I mean,
I like Josi a lot. And one of the reasons I like Josi so much is because we know how good Makar is. I'm not breaking news here by saying that Makar is an amazing defenseman. I mean, just look up on YouTube. He's doing spinoramas and fucking beating 4 guys and putting a top shelf on his backhand.
Yeah,
I mean,
short side.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, Roman Josi is just such a smart player. He puts up points. He's good defensively. He skates amazing. But he's also, I like Nashville. They're a good team, but listen, they're not Colorado. He's been putting up numbers like that in Nashville for years, and he doesn't have the same supporting cast as Colorado.
All right.
You imagine Josi playing with McKinnon and Taves and Landeskog and Rantanen and Kadri and all these guys, Chuskin, Yossi's got some, I'm not saying there's no good players on Nashville. You got Forsberg and Duchesne and but Colorado offensively is definitely more skilled. So I think, even the years before they had Duchesne and stuff like that, he was putting up those numbers. He's a really good defenseman. You could have made the case that he could have won, but yeah, I mean, it's tough not to give it to Makar because just the point production and just he's so smart with the puck. He doesn't panic under pressure. You watch him, he's like Fox in the set, like Adam Fox. I watch Fox a lot 'cause I'm a Ranger fan, obviously, but he's, they don't panic with the puck. They make the right play. You know what I mean? They're just very poised.
Right.
But Makar is just on a different level than Fox. He's got way more skill. He's quicker, better skater. He's, so he's just, he's unreal. He may go down as maybe it's the best defenseman. Just, what do you have, 86 points as a defenseman?
Yeah, something like
it's
that.
It's insane. And he's not a bad defender either.
No.
He's, he can defend too. He's not gonna fucking crush guys like McAvoy or someone like that. But he's a good defenseman. He's smart. You watch him defend. He knows how to defend too. So he's all around. It's just an amazing defenseman, no doubt.
Absolutely. I agree. Great at hockey IQ. Sees the play develop. Makes the right play, makes the right breakout pass, skates it up when he sees that lane, and hey, he's all around good, man. It's no secret. It's not, like you said, it's not breaking news, and that's why he won the Norris, and that's why he's in the Stanley Cup final.
Absolutely.
Hey,
But think about that draft too. Not to just stay on the Makar subject for a little bit. I mean, you look at the guys that were picked before him. I mean, Nico Hischier, Nolan Patrick, I think Heiskanen. Not taking anything away from Heiskanen, he's a good defenseman for Dallas. I like him. He's solid. He's really good, and he may even get just better from here. But it's kind of crazy. I mean, you can't really blame the teams to a degree if you're going by the consensus. But I mean, I'm sure true. Philly would rather have Cale Makar than Nolan Patrick right now, and I'm sure Jersey would rather have Makar than Hischier.
Nolan Patrick's on what, Vegas now? I don't even think he's still with Philly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on Vegas. I think he had some injury issues.
Crazy, but man. Yeah, they're probably punching the air right now. Fucking freaking
Yeah,
out.
Jersey too. They took Heischer. You go by the consensus. Sometimes it doesn't always work out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's got to be a tough job being a scout and trying to.
We should before the draft, a couple episodes, we should go over something like that. Players that teams that missed on key players like that. You know, Philly drafted Nolan Patrick's no longer even on the team, and they missed on Makar. Just to say, just to talk about it. Let's talk about it because it's funny.
Yeah, we could do that.
Listen, we're gonna go on to the Vezina now. Shesterkin winning the Vezina, rightfully so. No secret. Second best goalie in the world. In the world. I mean, we're talking about the NHL. In the world. I still think Vasilevsky holds down as number one right now, just given, Stanley Cups, the 2 Stanley Cups, and other than that, he's a freaking great goalie. Rangers are going to be scary, man. They really are. Coming from an Islander fan, I'm a little worried. But they got a good leader in net, and you got a great GM, Chris Drury. I mean, you can't take anything away from them. You gotta respect it. It's a well built team. It is. It really is. You can't discredit it. You can't. You literally can't. You'd be an idiot. You don't know hockey if you discredit it. You really don't. I mean, you're just an asshole. Really.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's very rare that a team wins without a great goalie. An elite goalie at that. And the Rangers have him. Like you said, second best goalie in the world. I agree. I think Vasilevsky right now is better, but I do think Shesterkin will surpass him.
I think so.
In the next couple of years. Yeah, he's unbelievable. Like, since he stepped in, I mean, when he stepped in
2019, I think it was. Yeah.
Wait, actually, it might have been 2020, early 2020. Actually, it might have been. I don't know if. I think it was early 2020. I'm pretty sure. He stepped in and he pretty much kind of forced Lundqvist into not playing because a lot of Ranger fans wanted Lundqvist to play, but they just realized how good Shesterkin was. Like, he didn't belong in the minors. He was too good.
Right.
And he was playing unbelievable. And, give credit to the Rangers scouting staff that found him. I can't tell you if it's the same scouting staff that they have now under Drury or if that was Jeff Gorton's scouting staff.
Right.
Because, Jeff Gorton did a good job for the Rangers, I think, with as far as acquiring players and stuff like that. If it's the same scouting staff, it's the same scouting staff. But, he's unbelievable. He's probably going to be the best goalie in the league in a couple of years. They got him locked up for a few more years, and we'll see what his contract costs. And 3-4 years, I'm sure it's going to be a ton of dough, but it'll be worth every penny. Yeah, I'm not shocked one bit that he won. I mean, that's all I can say about that. I watch the Rangers a lot. I know how good he is. So. Yeah,
listen, it's no secret. It's not breaking news. I like that when you say that, Jack. Hey, it's not breaking news. This guy's good. Yeah. No, really, it's not breaking news that he's a stud. Like I said, I'm as an Islanders fan, I'm fucking worried. We gotta fucking play against them every time, and this fucking guy. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they pan out. I think they're gonna be right back in the playoffs unless they get the fucking scary, crazy injury bug or something devastating happens. Knock on wood that don't happen. But yeah, you're gonna be forced to reckon with. They really are. It's no secret. So gonna be interesting to see that. Let's move on to the Calder. Here. This guy, I feel like we never mentioned too much because of the team he plays on and whatnot. And we've been focused on the playoffs in the past podcast episodes, but it's Moritz Seider of the Detroit Red Wings winning the Calder. Rightfully so, again. He's going to be great. Jack Farris told me about him. I never knew about him, to be honest with you, until Jack mentioned to me about him. And I'm pretty good with prospects and stuff. I really am. Just from being in touch with hockey and playing the NHL game and all this stuff. pretty savvy with all that. But yeah, that was definitely an under the radar guy in October when I think you actually told me you picked him up in the fantasy team in the fantasy league we were in.
Yeah.
And you were telling me all about him, and I was like, all right. And then I watched him, and I was like, oh yeah, 100%. So
I remember telling you about him maybe like late October, early November or something like that. I was like, dude, you got to watch this kid. He's unbelievable. He's going to be sick. And like you said, not a lot of people, you look at Detroit, they haven't been good for years. And so you don't really think of Detroit much, right? But
right.
I'll tell you what, I know Steve Yzerman's a very smart guy, and we can talk about Tampa for weeks now. Who built that Tampa Bay Lightning team? Steve Yzerman pretty much built that whole core. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. So when I seen him draft Moritz Seider, I was keeping an eye on him. And we had that, we had that fantasy league that we were in. I picked him up, dropped someone. I was like, yeah, Seider's going to be playing. I'm giving him a shot. I know he's going to be good. And he, it worked out for me because I think he had 50 points or 51. He's huge. He's a big kid. When I say huge, like big, muscular kid, tall, big dude, and he could skate. He could hammer guys. He could pass the puck. He's got a good shot. He's unbelievable. He looks like he's going to be like the right-handed shot Victor Hedman.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, you've been saying that. Yep. And
that's what I see in him. I mean, I watch a lot of hockey. I can kind of picture that stuff. I do think he could be like the right-handed shot Victor Hedman. I mean, he could do everything.
Yeah, like a little bit more agile.
Yeah,
a little more agile than Hedman.
And I know we've only really seen him, pretty much in only this season. But his first season, 50 points, playing unbelievable on a team in Detroit that's still building and not doing so great. But they're on their way up. And a guy like him, that's a cornerstone piece. You have your right-handed shot defenseman, your number one D-man, block, 20 years old.
Right.
And he's going to be your guy for the next 12, 15 years, maybe. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Listen, when I seen Steve Yzerman draft him and reached for him, and a lot of the media pundits and whatnot kind of were like, oh, what is he doing? I was like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm going to watch this guy Seider because he's probably going to be good because Yzerman knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, he's unbelievable. And even smart GMs make bad picks sometimes, but Seider's a good pick. That's for damn sure. And he's going to be one hell of a defenseman. I guarantee you, Jack Farris guarantee, within 3 years, he's a top 5 NHL defenseman.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
I totally see it. And I'm not even just agreeing to agree. I totally see it. I really do. Hey, listen, you
he crushes guys too. Like if you watch him, he crushes guys. Oh yeah,
he's aggressive. He ain't
better.
shying away. He's not. Yeah. No, exactly. You're right. Hey, you know it's something special when you see it. It's. I think
he was my Calder pick. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. This one will be short, I feel like, but Art Ross, no surprise. Connor McDavid again.
Yeah, he's decent.
Yeah, right. He's all right. Didn't fly down. Maybe something going on. We don't really like to dive into the drama and the bullshit. We like to keep it strictly hockey. Maybe something's going on with him, but didn't fly down the awards. Whatever. All good. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about it. No, let's not talk about it. But listen,
the guy that took the video of him was an asshole. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's all good. Whatever. Guy wanted to post it up, make fucking million hits, million views, whatever. Yeah, I mean, listen. Most points in the NHL, he's got it, and numbers don't lie, and there you go, folks. That's really it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
that's it.
We're not. We're not teaching you anything new if you watch hockey. That Connor McDavid is good. You know what I mean? We don't really need to spend too much time on this.
Yeah, it's
like people will say like, oh, like how does McDavid win again? Like they should give it to someone else. Like no, just like he's that good that he's gonna win every year because he's fucking great every year because he's just like
until
he's
somebody
the best player.
Yeah,
you know?
well, until somebody has more points than he does, then they'll win the award. You know, just like how if somebody scores more goals than Austin Matthews, they'll get the Rocket Richard. You know, so and that's why we banged out the first 3 awards was the Richard, the Hart, and the what was it, Ted Lindsay. I wanted to bang out those right away because it was all Matthews and the guy's good and it's not breaking news and this is where we're at. So yeah. McDavid's going to be obviously a legend. I mean, I think he already might be a legend, but you know, it might be a little early. People are probably freaking out, like, oh, he didn't even win a cup yet. He's a choke artist, McChoke artist, blah, blah. But the guy's unreal. He's a fucking superstar. Face of the NHL. Him and Matthews. They're like the new Crosby and Ovechkin. They're the new Crosby and Ovechkin, you know? It's... What else more could you say?
Yeah, he'll win a cup. I mean, they said that for years about Steve Yzerman. I think Steve Yzerman was, 30 or 31 when he won his first cup. You know, Stamkos was, I think Stamkos was 30 when he won that first cup in the bubble, right, against Dallas?
Yeah, because I think he's 32 right now.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, he might have been 30. So, yeah, people that say that, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, look, there's also very good players that never won a cup, like Joe Thornton.
Right,
guys like that. But, yeah, he's going to win a cup one day, and, yeah, he's unbelievable. That's all I got to say. I mean, just look him up on YouTube for 5 minutes. That's all you really got to do to figure that one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's not dive too much into this one. Lady Bing, Kyle Connor, the finest gentleman on the ice. Listen, I'm not on the ice. I don't know if he's a fine gentleman. You know, that's what the award's for. But, yeah, I mean, guy's sportsmanship. I feel like you never hear anything bad about him. I mean, we all know he's a great fucking hockey player. So I guess it's well-deserved. You know, Winnipeg has a good team. They're a weird team, too. I don't know what happened this year. Don't know if it's something internal. Don't know if it's coaching. Don't know. You know, it's very strange. I don't want to dive too much into the whole Winnipeg offseason, but, you know, team on paper, they look great. Playing with them in NHL, I know it's a video game, but playing with them in NHL is a fun time. You know, it's not like you're using Arizona and you're like, oh, this is miserable. Like, you know, they got some good guys to play with.
They got to fix their blue line.
Yeah, that is a weak point. I will say that. That is true.
I think they got good forwards. Like you mentioned, Connor. He's an unbelievable player.
Yeah, he's fucking quick, man.
Ehlers is really good. You know, guys like Scheifele, who may want out of there. Who knows? See what happens in the offseason with him. He may get traded. We'll see.
I heard Pierre-Luc Dubois, if I'm pronouncing it right, he might be going elsewhere. He might be. So that's going to be interesting to see where he lands. He's solid. I had him in fantasy. He's solid, 20 goal scorer at least. I think he scored 30 actually.
I wonder what's going on with him though. You have to wonder because you see what happened in Columbus. He kind of wanted out of there, and then he went out for those shifts, and he wasn't playing, and you could tell he wasn't skating and stuff, right? I think Columbus was kind of pissed at him, and now you hear he's in Winnipeg, and I don't know if he's not getting along with guys there or what, but if that's the case, if he's having issues with Winnipeg too, he might be, who knows? But he is a big guy and
he's
skilled.
He was just shy of 30 goals. He had 28. He played 81 games. You know, he's young too. He's 23. You know, he's still room to grow. Wonder where he lands. He got into that trade with
good player, yeah.
He traded. It was the Line trade, right? It was just straight up.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Winnipeg. I'll admit that. So I don't see him too often. I don't want to judge him too much. But
yeah, I'm a big Line guy. Big Line fan. I like him.
But if Winnipeg was smart, they'd try to lock up Dubois, I think.
Yeah.
He's proven that he's a good centerman, and he's proven he can score goals, and he's big. And as long as he's not as long as he's not a complete dick out there or in the locker room or whatever, which I'm sure he's not, they should try to lock him up because guess what? Winnipeg doesn't really have the best luck attracting free agents, right? So I think the players they have that are good, they should try to lock them up while they can.
Absolutely. The guy they should lock up also is well, actually they already did lock him up. I'm sorry. Is Kyle Connor. I mean, there's a reason why they locked him up. Look at the points. Numbers don't lie. It's as simple as that. 93 points in 79 games, 47 goals, 46 assists. What else? What else more can you ask for? You know?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too because
it's
those are some crazy numbers.
Yeah,
and like he's a guy you don't really hear too much about. I'm sure if you listen to Winnipeg media, you do, and you know maybe a little bit like TSN talk, but like he doesn't get talked about too much.
No.
You imagine Kyle Connor 93 points on Toronto or Boston or New York. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So they'd be talking about him 24/7. So
it's very true. Very true. So Bill Masterson Trophy for perseverance and dedication to the sport of hockey. Carey Price. Great goalie. Great career. Just shy of winning a cup. It sucks. Yeah, he's riddled with injuries. Right? He didn't even play this year. Played a couple times, I think, maybe.
Yeah, he had some issues. I know that. From what I hear, he's an unbelievable guy. Like off the ice, he does a lot for. I want to say it was like special needs children or something. I could have that wrong, but I've read good stories and good articles about him. I think he's a really good guy, and obviously he was an amazing goalie. Kind of a shame he couldn't win the cup. That was his best chance was against in the bubble that year where Montreal went on that crazy run. Excuse me. But yeah, unreal goalie. I don't know. I honestly don't really know exactly what's going on with him because you hear he was going to play again, and then you hear like he wanted to retire, and maybe you heard stuff during Seattle expansion they were going to take him, and Montreal kind of wanted to be done with him to get rid of the cap space because he makes $10.5 million. I don't know. As long as he's healthy mentally and physically, I could see him, still being good. Maybe Montreal doesn't want that cap hit. I don't know. I don't know what Jeff Gordon and Ken Hughes are thinking, but we'll see. There's got to be a reason for it. So, you heard anything about that, Rick? Do you know if he's like coming back to play for Montreal, or is he retiring? Like, do you know the story with Price?
I don't know the whole story. I heard more of retirement. I really am not knowledgeable about this, so I really hope I'm not putting out, I wouldn't say fake news, but the last thing I read up, we're talking about a couple weeks ago, is that he might be retiring. So maybe we'll save that for the next podcast, or maybe more off season, whatnot. But
we should get more info closer to the off season.
I would like to see them. I think any hockey fan would love to just see him come back and play and go back to his old ways. I don't think that's like a crazy take or anything, obviously, but I don't know. I think Montreal is going to be a good team coming soon. It's going to take a couple of years, but like a 3 years, but that's it. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think they're going to be a problem like Arizona, like where it's like, what the fuck is going on,
No, because the difference with Montreal is they have
St. Louis.
They have good ownership.
Yeah.
They have good ownership. They'll spend money, and free agents will. Well, the thing is, like Arizona's unstable, I think, and they don't really have like an arena. They don't have shit figured out. Their ownership, I'm not sure, is so stable in the sense of spending money on guys. So you're going to have hockey agents that are going to be like, all right, maybe you don't want to go to Arizona. It could go either way. It's depending on what type of player you are. If you're a young kid that's looking to like play a ton of minutes, maybe you go to Arizona because you'll have a spot open on the top line or something like that. But I don't think you're going to see like big ticket free agents going to Arizona. You know what I mean? If Johnny Gaudreau doesn't re-sign with Calgary, I don't think he goes to Arizona. You know what I'm saying?
No way.
But
no way.
I think the struggle you see with Montreal is the tax situation in Montreal. Like a lot of players, like if they have the opportunity to go, play for Dallas or Florida or Nashville, where not only do you have better weather, but you also have, a way better tax advantage. Montreal, they take like more than half your money in taxes. Same with Toronto. Montreal might be the highest taxed province, if I'm not mistaken, in Canada.
Really?
So
I actually thought it was Toronto because the city and everything.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Montreal. I mean, if any listeners are more financially educated on Canadian politics or Canadian finance, let me know if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure Montreal is the highest tax province. So, if you're making $5 million in Montreal and then $5 million in Tampa, is a gigantic difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Same with Dallas or Nashville or even Carolina or something like that. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, look, Montreal's a original six team. I'm sure they have amazing facilities. I'm sure that there's some benefits of living in the city.
I'm sure
people love hockey there. So they're gonna have money to spend, and as long as they have the cap space, because the ownership will write the checks because of how rich that team is, and so
very, very historic.
I do think Montreal's turnaround won't be. Bottom line, Montreal's turnaround is going to be pretty quick, I think, and they're going to draft Shane Wright. So let's see how good Shane Wright is, because does he step in right away and play, or does he go back to juniors? Who knows?
I think he's NHL ready. I think from Rick Adams reports, I think he's ready to go, especially if he's getting drafted to a team like Montreal.
Because if it's Wright and Suzuki down the middle, and they both, that's Suzuki keeps getting better, and if Wright's really the stud that everyone's saying.
I wonder if their power play line is going to be Caulfield, Suzuki, and Wright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, listen, Shane Wright got exceptional status in the OHL, so I mean, they don't give that to anybody.
Nope.
So, yeah, he's going to be a hell of a player, and I don't work for Montreal's front office or scouting staff, but I would bet money that they're picking Wright number 1 overall. So.
Yeah, kind of. You would have to be smoking crack if you're not, honestly. Let's dive in to the Jennings Trophy. The goaltender having played a minimum of 25 games for the team with the fewest goals scored against it based on a regular season play. Ani Rana and Freddie Anderson. Pretty good dynamic duo there. It's kind of sad that Freddie Anderson didn't play one playoff game. I think Rana played pretty fucking good, knowing his past life in hockey. I mean, it's he was never a true starter. Always a backup role. I mean, I think it's well deserved. I don't think it's. I mean, who else are you going to give it to, really? Not the Rangers and not Gorgiev and whatnot. He barely played, and he didn't really play great. So, he played. Rana played with Chicago. I forget. Did he win a cup with them, or am I being crazy?
He actually did. I don't think he played much with them. It was mostly Crawford.
Right,
but I think he actually did get a cup ring because he was their backup.
Right. Yeah, he played decent there. I know he wasn't, terrible, but
he was on the Rangers for a bit too.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And then he went to Arizona.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. He went to Arizona. That's right. Wow, I actually forgot about that. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. Like I was mentioning before with Freddie Anderson, that's kind of sucks. That's sad. With you do all that work, you put in all that work in the season, right? And then you're not there for your team. And I don't want to discredit anybody who's like a fourth line right winger or whatever. Everybody has a role on the team. That's why it's a team. But a goalie's a big deal. It's like losing your quarterback in the NFL for the playoffs. Your goalie's a big deal, man. That sucks. It does. So I think Carolina's going to be very, very dangerous team. But listen, we'll
Yeah,
dive
depending on
more.
what they do, yeah.
Yeah, listen, we'll dive more into all off season. Really don't got much to say about this award. It is what it is. Kind of like the Art Ross. It's kind of like, all right, it's no surprise. But with this one, it's kind of like, who else are you really going to give it to? Again, we're going. It's all numbers too. That's all numbers. So that says it all. We touched on the Bill Masterson, the Selk Trophy, Patrice Bergeron, well deserved, rightfully so. I like that guy a lot, Patrice Bergeron. I feel like how could you not?
Yeah, he's unreal. And I wonder if he goes back to Boston. His contract's up. There's talk that he may retire. Who knows? See what happens.
Yeah.
Boston will be an interesting team to dive into because they got a lot going on.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Injuries.
He's got to be the best two-way player in the league right now. I don't know anybody that's on his level of two-way play. Like, I like Nick Paul, he's a good two-way guy. I like Colton, he's a good two-way guy. But offensively, they don't compare to him. You know what I mean?
No,
they don't
offensively
compare.
and defensively.
Yeah, they just don't compare to him. I feel like
defensive centerman Philip. No.
Yes, you're right.
He's
yes.
amazing.
Yes, I
amazing
agree.
Defensively.
I agree. And you mentioned him before. You mentioned him. Yeah. You mentioned him previous podcast. Yes, I agree.
Defensively, he's an amazing defensive centerman, defensive forward, whatever you want to say. And he's a good player, very good player. But he doesn't put up the offensive numbers that Bergeron does. Like, Bergeron is just as good, if not better, defensively, but he also puts up the offensive numbers. So he's unreal. He's been playing amazing. So I just can't see him retiring. I feel like he's not ready to retire. He's still good. You know what I mean?
I don't
think he's had any major injuries either. But
I don't see him slowing down like crazy. I don't think so. A guy I kind of actually made some crazy statements just before. Like, there's not many guys that compare to him. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly, but I think Bergeron has that upper hand. I just Googled real quick.
O'Reilly's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled the past 5 years of the winners. This one went over my head. I didn't even know Sean Couturier on the Flyers won that in 2020. I have no recollection of that, to be honest with you. But that was a blurry year for everybody. And then Barkov winning in 2021, rightfully so. I mean, we talked about Barkov and Huberdeau before. We don't need to dive into every fucking previous award winners. I just wanted to Google this real quick. Oh man, some great names here. Listen, Patrice Bergeron, guy's a stud, always has been, no secret. Guy's a cup winner. What was it, 2011 against Vancouver? Well deserved. We all know it. No secret. Not breaking news like Jack Farris says. Listen. Going to be interested in what Boston does with him. Like you said, I don't think there's any signs of slowing down. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, we got the last award here. And it's the Coach of the Year, Jack Adams, a.k.a. I like to call it the Jack Farris Award. Daryl Sutter. I think it's well-deserved. Daryl Sutter, Calgary Flames. You were very high on the Flames earlier. I know my buddy Bear was very high on the Flames earlier in the season. I kind of doubted them. They were under the radar, came out of nowhere. Great team. Yeah, they choked in the playoffs, whatever. But, I mean, I don't think any analysis have them going that deep or anything. Not that I know of, I sure have. I sure didn't have them. I think they're going to be right back into the playoffs next year as well, depending on the Gaudreau situation and how they replace him. But I do think they have guys that will... listen, I don't think it's easy to replace a fucking, 115-point, season, Gaudreau, but... I think they got a good team that they will be able to make the playoffs if they do lose him. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly it. Like, what happened in the offseason with for Calgary with their players with Kachuk and Gaudreau. I believe I don't know if Matthew Kachuk's contract's up. I know he's an RFA, so he's restricted. So Calgary has some team control there. But yeah, I've heard that he may re-sign with Calgary. They're the only team that could offer him 8 years because he was already part of their team. So we'll see what happens there. But like who they add or lose at the deadline, if they lose Gaudreau and he goes and signs someone else, I don't think you're not replacing it. Like
No.
they're just not. There's no one better on the free agent market besides Gaudreau, at least at forward. And if there was, I don't know if they're going to go to Calgary anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe he signs because he could literally go down as the highest scoring and best forward in Calgary Flames history. Seriously, he's unreal player. Hasn't had a lot of injuries. Just puts up points. Great player. Had a great year. We'll see what happens. Daryl Sutter did a great job with that team. Made the best of his roster.
Absolutely.
I think that they do have a good roster. Markstrom's a goalie. I love Matthew Tkachuk. He's an amazing player. I would love to have him on the Rangers. But they have a solid roster. I think they could make some additions. I think they could definitely add some players. But they have some good players. They got Lindholm. They got Mangiapane. They got Tkachuk. They got Gaudreau if he stays. So we'll see. You got to wonder if Gaudreau's kind of sitting there like, all right, well, is Tkachuk going to stay? Is Hanifin going to stay? Because if they're not, you know what I mean? Like, does he sign long-term for 8 years in Calgary and spend the next 8 years of his life in Calgary if he thinks in a couple of years Calgary's not going to be so great? I don't know.
Right. It's a tough decision, man.
I think he wants to maybe test free agency and see what's out there for him. See maybe a more attractive offer comes along, maybe Philly or New Jersey or who knows what's going on. I keep saying Philly just because he's from that area, but, who knows? If Nashville throws a ton of money at him, maybe I'll go to Nashville. Good tax situation, good weather.
I think he either now after looking at the cap, and we'll get into the whole off season with them. But I did a quick glance past couple of weeks, and we've talked about it. I really think he either re-signs in Calgary, stays with that core, or he's going to go to Nashville. I think he's a good enough player that you're going to be able to plug into Nashville, sign the deal, going to Nashville. Even if they re-sign or lose Philippe Forsberg, Nashville, I would love to see that fit. And I don't see why he wouldn't go there. Warmer weather and whatnot. Better market. Well, you could argue better market, but, sure it's less tax, but, yeah, we'll see.
Well, I've never been to Calgary. It may be cool, but I've heard cool things about it, but it's still far away from where he lives, and it still gets dark and snowy and extremely cold in the winter. So, and it's highly taxed compared to a lot of other United States. So, we'll see. Yeah, we're gonna see pretty soon where he's headed. If he decides to 8 years with Calgary, or if he tests free agency and sees what's out there. But not to go off too. We're going off topic, I guess, a little bit. Talk about Gaudreau, but as far as Daryl Sutter goes and winning that award, well deserved. I think you could have made the case for the Rangers and Gerard Gallant. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm a Ranger fan, but I think he did a pretty damn good job with the Rangers. I actually give a lot of credit to LA Kings, their coach. They made the playoffs, and I wasn't too impressed with their roster. I think he kind of got the most out of his roster.
Right.
I think he did a pretty damn good job. I think it's Todd McClellan, right? Todd McClellan, he did a good job.
I think you're right,
so I think there's a lot of coaches that did a good job. You can't go wrong by saying Daryl Sutter. I think he did a good job with Calgary and got the job done. And not the job in the sense of winning. They didn't win the cup, obviously, but, they took major strides. And as long as they can keep their core together, I think they're going to have a really good team.
Yeah, like you said, keeping that core. We could go on and on.
I'd like to see him add something on the deadline. Not the deadline, something on the blue line. just hypothetically, if they keep Gaudreau
Yeah,
and they're
I
able
mean
to sign
they
Kachuk,
got Hannafin, they got Rasmus Anderson. I can't really tell you who else, honestly. They got that guy Killington.
Chillington.
Killington, he's
They like
solid.
him. I think.
He's solid. Yeah, he's solid.
I think they got Tanev still, right? Chris Tanev.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, Tanev. Yep.
But yeah, if they're able to keep the core together, I would like to see them add something on the blue line.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Maybe it's easier said than done, I guess. But whether it's through free agency or trade, I think they do have to shore up the blue line.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. Honorable mentions. Well, not really honorable mentions. What am I saying? I'm fucking all over the place. Getting a little late. A little loopy. Hey, so we don't know about these awards. This award winner for this topic here. We know the nominees. For some reason, they're going to announce the winners for GM of the Year at the draft. I never heard of this. I don't remember this happening. Whatever, though. GM of the Year, we'll know July 7th during the draft or right before the draft. Don't know all the details yet. But the nominees are Chris Drury, Joe Sakic, and Jack Farris has to help me out with the last name. It's Julian Breezebro. I'm probably butchering it.
Julian Breezebois.
Breezebois of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Julian Breezebois.
Breezebois. Say that 12
times
fast.
Tampa's GM, and I think he's done a great job the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Taking over for Yzerman.
Yeah. I think Sakic's going to win it. But we'll see.
Especially if they win the cup.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it's they save that for later. I don't know. But if that was the case, they would save the Norris for later, because it's Hedman and Cale McCarr going at it in the cup. You know what I mean? But who knows? I think Sakic will get it.
Wins the cup. I think whatever team wins the cup will wind up winning that award.
Yeah.
Whether it's Tampa or Colorado, but Drury's been great, I think, and the reason he's in there is because I think the Rangers went farther than
anybody expected. Yeah, no. Listen, honestly, no analyst had any Ranger pick on their radar for anything. They didn't. I didn't.
A big part of that's just Shurkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say he was smart in the sense that the Rangers didn't give up a first round pick, and they still made some sads. Actually, they did. I'm sorry. Now that because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they played I forgot how many games it was. There was a conditional pick.
Right.
It was supposed to be a second pick for Copp, but now that turned into a first. It's going to Winnipeg. So the Rangers actually did give up their first round pick, but still,
it's all right.
They did a good job. They got Copp, Toronto, Mott. They made some heads. That guy Justin Braun wasn't too bad for them. We'll see what happens in the offseason as far as who they could re-sign. Can't because they only have so much cap space, but I'd like to see them at least keep Copp. I like him a lot. He's pretty. He might be too expensive, but they got to keep one of those guys. I like for Toronto too. He's been pretty solid for them. He's been all around. He's been like a little water bug out there. He scores goals. He's blocking shots. So Toronto's a good player. I like him. If they could get him on a decent contract, I'd like to see him stay.
Yeah, I don't know the current cap space with them. If they're able to afford everybody and just run it back, that would be awesome. I think that's what they should do. If they have to make, minor moves to get rid of certain guys, then it is what it is. I heard that Braun won't be re-signing, or the Rangers won't re-sign him, and was it Tyler Mott? Was it Mott? I don't think he's going to be staying either. So.
Yeah, a lot of teams are after him at the deadline because he's a pretty solid player. Kind of play up and down the lineup, but look, the Rangers aren't going to be able to re-sign everybody.
No team is.
Fox's extension kicks in, and they're going to have to play Keandre Miller soon. Who's been really good for them. They got players.
Definitely going to pay him. Can't lose him. They cannot let him walk.
They got so much cap space, unfortunately.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, it's 10:56 here, folks. I think we covered pretty much everything. We got Game 4 tomorrow, 8 p.m. Mark it down. Set your alarms. Do what you gotta do. Don't forget. Buy your steaks. Buy your food. Whatever you gotta do. Get your beer. Get your smoke on. Whatever you gotta do. Get ready. Game 4. Tampa's home. Rick Adams got $20 on the Tampa Bay Lightning with a Palat goal. Hopefully it hits. But yeah, I'm excited. We got that. And the draft July 7th, free agency July 13th. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I hate to say this, I'm more excited for the offseason. I really am.
I know. I want to see who wins the cup, and then I want to see what's going on with the draft and the trading, and who signs where. That's an exciting time of year too. And then the hockey world gets a little break after that from July, August, and then September kind of. Then next thing you know, training camp starts. So.
Yeah, just like that. Oh yeah. All right, folks, that's gonna be it. This is Rick Adams signing off. It was a great episode, episode 9, and that's it. That's all we got.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. Jack Farris signing out. Time for bed.
Time for bed. Night, night.
Later.